Hi guys, and welcome back to History Revision Success. So we are doing our thematic topic of the Nazi economic policy and trying to evaluate how effective it was in meeting Hitler's aims, but also at reviving the economy. Now, I wanted to do this little video as a kind of a short segment because I think it's really important that we understand why Hitler succeeded in fixing the economy where the Weimar government didn't. And you might have a question on this. It might help your understanding of the Weimar regime. It might help your understanding of the Nazi regime. So that's why I've done it. Now, the first argument really is luck. And, the German and the world economic slump had bottomed out by kind of late 1932. So the economy was improving as part of a natural recovery process. Now, the second reason is that Hitler was also very willing to reject kind of orthodox economic liberalism, which means, a support of a market economy and private property. So where the Weimar politicians had been quite constrained by this more normalized way of running a kind of a capitalist government with private property, support of market economy, etc. Hitler was able to kind of just reject it. And he had greater state intervention, and he used the deficit financing that you should have learned about in my video on recovery under Schacht. If you haven't, go and watch it. Where the Weimar politicians could not. So he basically just took more liberty, essentially, in what he did. Now, he was also extremely determined, and he really prioritized the idea of reducing unemployment, whereas previous leaders like Brüning, it was more of a tool kind of for wider aims. Reason 4, I guess, is context. So it was harder to take decisive action under the Weimar Constitution, whereas once Hitler had secured constitutional change with the Enabling Acts and Hindenburg had died, there were no longer any formal constraints on what he could do. Repression of free trade unions meant that business confidence was restored, and the imposition of controls meant there was less fear of inflation. So the context within which both governments are acting is also very, very different. Hitler adopted Weimar policies more vigorously, such as work projects, and ultimately some factors which may have seemed important, actually aren't that important. Arguably kind of the psychological factors, the loss of reparation payments, the confidence that Hitler instilled in society were some of the most defining factors and defining features of why the economic situation recovers. Now, Hitler is willing to take far greater action in order to benefit from the economic situation, and he had the power and determination with which to extend greater control over the country, in part due to the terror state that he had created. So, arguably we can put his financial and economic success in context with his creation of this much wider terror state, which gave him the controls and the ability to act in ways that previous politicians have been unable to and have been constrained by. And really that's why he manages to succeed where the Weimar government have failed.